Hi dear students, today we have come with a new video of class 7. Okay, so you can say it is the last part of energy, and in this part we will discuss the conservation of energy. In the previous class we have discussed about the conversion of energies, and here we have seen that how much energy can be converted from one form to another form. Okay, and we have discussed some example. So in today's discussion we have to see at the time of conversion of energy actually what happens. Okay, let's start. So first we discuss the topics we're going to learn today. So first thing we have to learn what is conservation of energy, and then what is conservation of mechanical energy, some examples of conservation of mechanical energy, mainly because in this part of learning we have to mainly focus on the mechanical energy. And the last thing, very interesting thing, that is production of hydroelectricity, how hydroelectricity is produced. So all that things we have to learn today. So let's start our journey. Conservation of energy. So before starting about the topic, we have to discuss little bit about what is conservation. Conservation means something which is conserved, that you can say constant. Though literally we can say conserved and constant, it is not same, but in this case it is almost same. So conservation of energy, by this heading, the first statement that comes in front of us, that is the total energy of in the universe, it is constant. So it is written over here, if you see, that we cannot create a energy or we cannot destroy a energy. Something we have thought now that we have created this, we have created that. No, we cannot create energy or we cannot destroy energy. What we can do, we can able to transform the energy from one form to another form. That we have seen in our previous part, that if I have given an example that shown in front of you, that is the electric motor. So in electric motor, electrical energy converts into mechanical energy. So that conversion we have done. In electrical bulb, the electrical energy converts into light energy. That can be done. But we cannot destroy one energy or we cannot create one energy. So in that case, we can say that the total energy is always conserved in each of the transformation. In each transformation of energy, the energy remains conserved. But one question it comes to your mind. What is that question? So we have learned dissipation of energy in the previous part. So in the previous part, in dissipation energy, you have told that some of the energy is not converted into useful form of energy. Just like if I have told that image I have shown to you, that is electric motor. So the main conversion it is occur in electric motor is the electrical energy to mechanical energy. Now you might be telling, sir, whenever the motor works, some amount of heat energy is also produced. Yes, of course. If we are talking about our fan, ceiling fan or table fan, whatever may be, whenever you have to on it for a long time, you feel that it is hot. That means some energy is dissipated as a form of heat energy. Not only the heat energy, whenever the motor works, some sound also come now. So some sound energy is also come, that is also a dissipation, that also cannot be used. So you can say that, sir, we have seen that energy is lost here. So how the energy is conserved? Yes, the energy is conserved. Why? Because whatever electrical energy is taken by the instrument, that electrical energy is just converted into mainly in mechanical energy, but partly in heat energy and sound energy. So we can say that total electrical energy is equal to total mechanical energy plus heat energy plus sound energy. So that's why the net amount of energy that should be conserved. Okay, total electrical energy given to the machine, that energy is mainly converted into mechanical energy plus heat energy plus sound energy. So this sum of three energies should be equal to the total electrical energy you have given, and that is actually conservation of energy is all about. Okay, now we'll go for learning a special part of conservation of energy. We are discussing mainly about mechanical energy. We have just learned about the two types of mechanical energy, that is potential energy and kinetic energy. In this case, we have to learn conservation of mechanical energy. What it does. Whenever we are talking about the total mechanical energy of a body, in generally we have told that the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy of a body, right? That is the total mechanical energy. And it is told that in the absence of dissipative force means frictional force, that is one kind of dissipative force, resistive force by air, that is also a dissipative force in case of mechanical energy. If we avoid this, then the total energy, the total mechanical energy will be constant. What is the meaning of it? That meaning is the total potential energy conserved in a body, that potential energy should all converts into kinetic energy, right? So that is the conservation of mechanical energy. Here I have shown you an image. Here it is shown that a stone is taken to a height. So when the stone is taken to a height, the stone should possess some potential energy, and when the stone is just left from the height, then the potential energy should be converted into kinetic energy. Now you might be asking that, sir, whenever the stone is fallen, so when it comes through the air will give a resistive force, and it should have done some work against the resistive force of air, so some energy will be lost. So total potential energy will not be converted to kinetic energy. See, I have already told, as the stone is too heavy, so we can neglect the resistive force of air. If we neglect it, then we can say that total potential energy stored on the stone, that should be converted into kinetic energy. Okay, and that is all about your conservation of mechanical energy. Okay, so total potential energy should all converts into kinetic energy, and in a body total energy should be sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy, and that should remain constant in absence of any sort of dissipative force. Clear? Okay, now we have to see some examples. By that example we will able to learn that what it is all about. Let's see some example. So first example, I am giving you a roller coaster. So though the image it is given, it is not a roller coaster. Roller coaster you have seen in Nico Park or in another parks it is seen. So a smaller car types thing that can able to rotate, coming through a height like this way. Okay, so very interesting thing, mostly we have seen in television. If you go on to the Nico Park, Kolkata, you can able to see it. So here it is told that conservation of mechanical energy there in roller coaster. In this image we have not shown the roller coaster, but rather we have shown the coastering path. Coastering path means this type of path, right? So ups and downs, that path is coastering path. So it is told when this car, you see in the image, when the car is at a height, so definitely it should have kinetic energy less but morely potential energy, because we know more height more potential energy. And when the car goes down, so potential energy converts into kinetic energy. Okay, and when it comes straight line, then potential energy is very minimum because it is coming to the ground. So less height, less potential energy, and kinetic energy is maximum. And after that, whenever it again try to reach to a height, so at a height, then again potential energy is increased and kinetic energy is decreased. So that is a roller coastering path. Okay, one question it may comes to your mind that whenever a car or the things I have told, that in that case whenever something is moving by a path, there must be a resistive force of friction. So this frictional force must stop or must act against the motion of the body. So definitely the energy should be reduced there. But I have already told that we are neglecting that resistive force like friction. If we neglect it, then only the equation it is written here that kinetic energy initial, it is written here, if you see, kinetic energy initial plus potential energy initial equals to kinetic energy final plus potential energy final. That means the total energy should be conserved. How? Now initial kinetic energy plus initial potential energy, its sum should be equal to the final kinetic energy plus final potential energy. So if you want to the height, the kinetic energy will be less, potential energy will be high, so its sum we will get. So assume the kinetic energy is 500 joule and potential energy assume it is 3000 joule. So total energy will be 3500. When it comes downward, assume the kinetic energy is now 3000 and potential energy assume it is 500. So now it is also 3500. So this sum will always be constant. 3 plus 2 equals to 5 and 2 plus 3 equals to 5, or 3 plus 2 equals to 5 and here 1 plus 4 that is equals to also 5. So this sum will always be constant in a mechanical work. And one thing we have to remember, that no energy has been lost due to this friction or another kind of dissipative force. Then only this conservation will be sustained. Okay, this conservation of mechanical energy will be sustained. But though, to tell the truth, to make the mechanical energy conserved, we need to make a closed system. That means there shouldn't be any friction, there shouldn't be any resistive force. But exactly it is not possible. So to make the mechanical energy conserved, it is difficult. It is little difficult. For this roller coaster, it is really difficult. Okay, coming to the next, vertically falling ball. No, here the mechanical energy is conserved and that we can prove. Okay, if you take an object to a height, you see the man has shown here, he has taken the object to a height. So at the extreme height, you know the potential energy will be maximum, and at an extreme height there is no kinetic energy because the body is not having any sort of speed. Okay, so you see at the image in first point where it is written y1 equals to h, so here potential energy is shown by blue color. Potential energy is maximum but there is no kinetic energy. It is written also in the statement that potential energy we are taking it is, let it is E, and kinetic energy it is 0. You left the ball. So when you left the ball, then it will come downward with a speed. Assume at half of the path, when it just reaches at half of the path, so half of the potential energy, definitely it will be converted into kinetic energy because the body is in motion. You see the image, half potential energy. So initially the blue color height is very long, now the height is shortened, and the kinetic energy, the red color height is also increased, and these two are equal. And see the statement it is written, we are assuming that potential energy is E by 2 and kinetic energy is E by 2. Initially you see potential energy is E at the extreme point and kinetic energy is 0. And whenever it reaches to the half of the path, half of the potential energy converts into kinetic energy. So that's why potential energy is E by 2, that much in potential energy is left, and kinetic energy, it will from 0 to converts into E by 2. So E by 2 potential energy converts into kinetic energy. Now the ball comes and coming about to touch the ground. Okay, just before the ground touching, just little more. In that case, we know the height of the ball or of the object from the ground will be 0 because it is just about to touch the ground. Na? So if height is 0, we know potential energy, the factors of potential energy. One of the important factor is your height. So if your height is 0, your potential energy will also be 0. So all the potential energy converts into which? Into kinetic energy. Let's see the image. So potential energy, the blue color line, it is removed. Only the red color line is there and it is increased. So total potential energy which is stored at a height, when it comes downward, total potential energy converts into kinetic energy. So we are assuming, let the potential energy at top, if it is E, so before touching the ground, potential energy will be 0, and all the potential energy that we have taken E, that is converted into kinetic energy. So here kinetic energy will be E. So we can say that in a vertically falling body, this way energy is conserved. So if you find the total energy in whole the path, you see in the first portion at an extreme height, total energy will be potential energy plus kinetic energy. So it will be E plus 0 E. At midpoint, potential energy plus kinetic energy equals to E by 2 plus E by 2. It is also E. And at the last point, potential energy is 0, kinetic energy is E. So 0 plus E, total energy will be E. So you see in whole path, the total energy remain E. And that's why we can say that energy is conserved in a falling body. On an exam point of view, this portion is very important. Okay, so read it in your book properly. Now I just want to show you one more example, though it is not given to your book. But yes, whenever we are talking about the conservation of mechanical energy, that example also comes. Let's see it. That is an example of simple pendulum. Simple pendulum, if I am taking an object and just swing it like this way. Okay, though it is not a simple pendulum, okay, it should be taken as a complex pendulum. Why, you will learn later. So what is simple pendulum? If you hang an object by a thread and it just oscillates, you have just learned it in the motion chapter. It is the oscillation. That object also just show that possesses conservation of energy. Clear? So let's see how. So whenever you just started swinging, assume you have just left it. Do I not have any examples? So I just show you this one. So if you just keep it like this way, it will remain static. Whenever you have taken to a height, just like this, to extreme point. So as you have taken to a height, it will possesses a potential energy. Okay, but there is no kinetic energy because there is no motion. As you have leave it, it will start moving. That means it will start from here, gone to this point, and again coming to this point like this way. Okay, so whenever it is coming to the extreme height in this direction, here only potential energy, no kinetic energy. Now it is coming to move, and again going to this extreme height. Here also only potential energy, no kinetic energy. And when it moves and come to this point, that is known as the mean position or the average position. Here you see in this position the body is not static. So in that position we can say the total energy is kinetic energy. That is only explained here, that in extreme points there is potential energy, that is maximum, kinetic energy minimum, that means kinetic energy is 0 here. And when you start swinging, so potential energy converts into kinetic energy. At the mean point, that means in straight line, it is written also here in your image that maximum kinetic energy at the mean point, and two extreme points there is only potential energy. Now one question is also come to your mind. Sir, here also there is a story of friction where it is been tied over the rod. So whether we are neglecting the friction? Yes. In this case also we are neglecting the friction. If we are not neglecting, then we cannot say the energy is conserved. That means the mechanical energy is conserved. In generally energy is conserved, but mechanical energy is conserved. In that case we have to assume that these dissipative forces are not acting, or we, if it is acting also, that is very less, we can neglect it. Clear? Coming to the next example, and it is also a part of your topic and it's very interesting, that is hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity, we all know it is a renewable form of energy, and in many areas, mainly in hilly areas like Uttaranchal, Uttarakhand, in that places, hydro energy plays a vital role in the production of electricity, because in that areas the flow of water is very high, and that's why the water is taken to a height to forming a dam. I think most of you have shown the dam. Dam means it is basically a wall is given. In one side the level of water is high, another side the level of water is very low. Okay, so whenever the water is stored on the dam, you see step by step the height of the water is increased in one side. So if height is increased, what energy is possessed in it? Definitely potential energy. Okay, and when the dam is open, so there is a gate. Okay, in the image also you see there is a gate is given, that is called lock gate. When the lock gate is taken, then the water comes downwards, so the potential energy stored on water, that should convert into kinetic energy, but because the water is coming with a speed when it is released, and that kinetic energy of the water comes with very fastness and just hitting the blade of the turbine. Okay, so to produce electricity we have to rotate the turbine. What is turbine, how it works, you will learn in class 10. Okay, now only you have to remember that if we rotate turbine, then only we can produce electricity. It is written also electric generator. So electric generator, basically it converts the mechanical energy to electrical energy. So when it comes, so it is the mechanical energy of the water. Which type of mechanical energy? Kinetic energy. So this kinetic energy comes and hit the blades of the turbine, so that blade of the turbine rotates. So the kinetic energy of the water gives the kinetic energy of the turbine, and as the turbine rotates, we will get the electricity. So by that way, we can say that the mechanical energy of water in hydroelectricity converts into electrical energy. Clear? So that is the production of hydroelectricity. So this is mainly asked for short question purpose, not like that you have to draw the diagram of the whole system. It is given here, it is not asked. The question may be asked like this way, that what energy is possessed in the water when it is taken to the reservoir or taken to a height? Potential energy. When the water is released from the dam, what energy conversion is occurred? So potential energy of the water converts into kinetic energy, and when the water strikes the turbine, then kinetic energy of the water gives kinetic energy to the turbine and it produces electricity. Okay, so if anyone asks you in hydroelectricity what energy conversion is occurred, it is simply mechanical to electrical. But the inside story, how the mechanical energy produce the electrical energy, that I have to tell. Okay, so up to this your syllabus is completed for first term. We will discuss some question answer. All the question answers are given to your book. I'll see that most of the question answer has been discussed. Some of the questions I'll given to you for writing, and after this class, means in next week class, you will get another assignment of energy. Till then, stay happy and be happy. Thank you very much. Bye.